G'day to you all, my name is Robert Jones. Welcome to Sports O'Clock. Thanks for joining us. It's just me this evening. I'll be basically recapping a few things that happened recently in the wide world of sports. What is this, Channel 9? If you want to see more videos like this one, then please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And leave a comment down below. Give us any form of feedback. It will be much appreciated. And if you want to get in contact and communicate with myself or anyone on the team, then please contact us via the Instagram page. And the link to that is in the description below. Also, go check out our podcasts because they're kind of cool. So very, very recent news. Obviously, Australia and Pakistan are going head-to-head in a test series. It'll actually be the very first test series since Justin Langer's departure from his role as head coach of Australia's national cricket team. He was there from, I think, mid 2018 until obviously February this year when he left. So it's quite gonna be a little bit different, but of course coaches on the field particularly don't have a crazy amount of visible impact, to the audience's view. But Australia against Pakistan. Obviously, Australia are the favourites because they're higher ranked than Pakistan. They've got more star players than Pakistan, but obviously, Pakistan themselves are a highly ranked and well-respected cricket team, well and truly. They're a top-tier side, and I guess the biggest talking point was Scott Boland and how he wasn't selected. Are you really going to pick him over Josh Hazlewood, though? When Boland played at the end of the most recent Ashes series against England, he was insane. I don't need to go into that. Everyone on planet Earth knows what happened. Scotty Boland, absolute living legend, right? But he was left out of the squad, and like I said, over Hazlewood or Green, if he was selected, I think there still would have been complaints in reverse saying, like, why isn't Cameron Green in the squad? Why isn't Josh Hazlewood in the squad? Personally, I would probably take him over Cameron Green. I don't even know how it's a conversation with Hazlewood. Obviously, Hazlewood's the better bowler. Boland had great figures in the Ashes and is a great bowler himself. Obviously, that goes without saying. But Josh Hazlewood, I think, is a bit more certified and a bit more proven at test level. Getting 5 for 6 in the biggest test series in world cricket is a pretty good thing to put in your resume. But Hazlewood's been doing it series in, series out, game in, game out. For like on a more consistent basis than someone like Scotty Boland. They kickstarted the match today, I believe, and Pakistan won the toss and chose to bat. English, but to turn away from cricket and go into football, we're going to be talking about Roman Abramovich. So a few days ago, Roman Abramovich put the stewardship and care, quote unquote, in charge of the Chelsea trustees. A direct quote from Roman Abramovich. He said, "I've always made decisions with the club's best interest at heart. I remain committed to these values, and that is why I am today giving trustees of Chelsea's charitable foundation the stewardship and care of Chelsea Football Club. I believe that currently they are in the best position to look after the interests of the club, players, staff, and the fans." So he said that a couple of days ago, released that as a statement, and then he put Chelsea up for sale. So Roman Abramovich, in charge for almost 2 decades, went through 13 managers, which I thought was insane, but that's modern football for you. Either way, he was still a very successful owner, and I think he may not have had a tight relationship with the fans, but he was successful. He put a lot into the club, investment-wise, but trust-wise, faith-wise, and backing and stuff like that. On and off the financial spreadsheet, he was all round just a good owner. I'd say very successful, and silverware wise, he won over 20 trophies. So, I mean, you got to respect the guy, Roman Abramovich, fair play. But then you look at kind of why, or the reason as to why he's decided to let go of Chelsea, and the guy's Russian. So need I say more? And there's also actually rumors that he has had links with Vladimir Putin. Now, I cannot sit here and say that they're reliable because they may well be the complete opposite, but just saying that it's a bit of a sketchy thing to have going through people's heads when they've got their eyes looking at you. And when one of the richest men in Russia, so obviously he's going to attract a lot of attention, whether or not you own Chelsea Football Club as well. But when he left, he did mention everything going on in Russia and Ukraine and stuff like that, but he never really addressed the negative well, I mean, the whole thing's a negative, but, he never addressed it as a negative, I think is the correct terminology to use. He never said, okay, so what's going on in Russia right now, or sorry, in Ukraine by Russia, is terrible, is horrible, highly illegal, which, I mean, that's the third thing you're going to talk about, then it's pretty shit. So it's quite a desperate move, from Roman Abramovich. But either way, if you're looking at it just from a football perspective, which is what I'm trying to do here, because we're on a sports channel, obviously, he was very successful. He was a successful owner, and I mean, yeah, Chelsea fans are always going to remember him because Roman Abramovich did a lot for Chelsea Football Club, a lot. As much as I want to avoid Russia-Ukraine talks, it's quite hard not to when it's had such a big impact on sport over the last couple of weeks. Mostly, there's a few examples, but we're going to start with Ukraine women's tennis player Alina Svitolina. I butchered that. I don't even need to look it up. I butchered that. But she's basically attempted to make ultimatums with various tennis associations, and she's basically done that because, well, she wants stuff to be done. She doesn't want her home invaded, obviously. And different football teams, obviously that's what I'm going to notice the most because I'm a stupid diehard football fan. But you've got many different teams, many more than anyone was able to keep count of or track of, that were showing their love and support for Ukraine and wishing them the best through these tough times. Mostly through goal and match celebrations and stuff like that. Before or after the game, they'd have little tributes or paintings or flags or something like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of goal celebrations where they've had a Ukraine shirt underneath their jersey or something like that, or they go to the sideline and hold up a Ukraine flag or something. So little things like that obviously are good and show that football can be more than just a sport sometimes. So I love that sentimental aspect of it, and I'm really, yeah, it makes you warmer, I guess, to see that people are giving a shit about the tragedies of the world, and what's going on in Ukraine right now is 100% a tragedy. I think the majority of people listening to this, which is like 10 people if we're lucky, they'd probably agree with me when I say that what Russia are doing right now is very, very stupid. And the drama continues with the Russians. I mean, the International Paralympic Committee, so they're the top dudes who run the Paralympics, and in the Beijing 2022 Paralympics for winter, which is literally happening like now, Russia have been kicked out. And 24 hours ago, they were actually told, okay, you can come compete. It is what it is. But there were actually statements made by other countries and competing nations and stuff like that, and they were basically saying, yo, we don't want Russia in here, so if you don't kick them out, we ain't going to play. So literally a day after saying you can come and compete, the ICR or the ICR, what the hell? The IPC basically just said, nah, sorry, you and Belarus are out of the competitions. So they're kicked from the games, and the president of the International Paralympic Committee came out with a statement. So Andrew Parsons said, in taking our decision yesterday, we were looking at the long-term health and survival of the Paralympic movement, and it is clear that the rapidly escalating situation has now put us in a unique and impossible position so close to the start of the Games. The Brazilian obviously went on to talk about the things that were previously mentioned, not threats. Well, yeah, they were threats from other countries. They threatened to pull out. And obviously with the other nations threatening to pull out, the IPC are going to stand there and they're going to go, okay, do we want this country who have sport as a massive, massive attraction and massive deal in general with a lot of significance in and to the country, who are also illegally invading a neighbor country against all rules ever? Do we want them to participate, or do we want these numerous other countries who are not doing anything of the sort, who are going to come in, generate revenue by competing, obviously, because that's how the freaking world works? And do we want them to bring their Paralympians in and play, and we'll have more contestants, more nations, more teams, more people of all aspects competing and getting involved? Obviously, you're going to take the latter unless you're retarded. So it's good to see that happen. I mean, I think it would have been nice to see the IPC kind of not second guess well, they had to second guess themselves, but I guess not have to put themselves in a position where they have to second guess themselves by just saying, okay, Russia, you're not coming. Ciao. Like, I mean, there's probably some things behind the scenes as to why that couldn't happen immediately and straight off the bat. But I reckon it probably just should have. And Russia would have got a lot from it because snow and that, So they would have had a lot of athletes and a lot of contestants bringing a lot of prize money back to Russia. So it's good because it not only stops a little bit of economical flow. At the end of the day, that in itself is going to be very minor, but it also makes more people frown upon Russia. So it's a win-win, and I think it was the right decision from the IPC in the end. And if I call them the IPR throughout that, I don't know if I did or not. I honestly can't remember, but I do apologize because I'm a little stupid. Let's move on to the NBA. So the Golden State Warriors have really fallen off in recent weeks. I think are they 4-11? I know that they're 3-7 in their last 10, so I'm going to stick with that. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They're really missing Draymond Green, that primary defender, and they've actually been given up a lot of easy buckets, so it's not really great. Steph Curry has picked it up in recent weeks. He's been all right. He's dropping a few 25, 30-point games, whatever. But obviously, he had that rough patch a few weeks ago, and I think he's not out of MVP conversation, but right now, on his current trajectory with other players and other teams around the league doing the things they're doing, Curry's not top 5. So, yeah. But he could bounce back and get back into that conversation. Obviously, in the first part of the season when the Warriors were pretty much were more up there with the Suns, because now they're like 8 games behind or something like that. I'm actually going to look that up. Yeah, so they're 8 games behind, or 7.5, sorry. The Warriors are 7.5 games behind the Suns, but when they were like above them by like a game, Steph was doing insane, and if they were still in that position and Steph was still averaging 28, 29 points per game, sure, I wouldn't have a problem if Steph won the MVP and the season was ended there, and that's what happened. But, I don't really know if Steph's going to get back to that sort of level this season, or maybe at all in his career. We don't know. We'll wait and see. I love Curry, though. Obviously, everyone loves Steph Curry, except for Cavs fans. But, I did mention Phoenix. They're continuing their sizzling form. They have a 50-12 record with an 80% win percentage, which is quite frankly disgusting. Chris Paul has been playing how you'd expect Chris Paul to play. Devin Booker's been getting those points up. He's been scoring the ball, but they've got so many good role players, and I think I've mentioned it with Jezza in every podcast we've done. Phoenix are literally really good in terms of their all-round roster. They have so many good role players, defensively and offensively. DeAndre Ayton is just still progressing. He's insane. Mikal Bridges, one of the most underrated NBA players ever. So Phoenix are doing really well for themselves. And I don't know yet. I don't like really predicting playoffs and finals and stuff until the playoffs and finals come around. But I might root for the Suns as a little bit of an underdog. Well, not an underdog. They're crushing the league right now. But last season, even though they finished as the 2 seed and the Jazz as the 1 seed, no one really thought that they were going to go that far. And the Suns still, made the conference finals and whatever. Sorry, made the finals and whatever. But and had a 2-0 lead. But that in itself was exceeding expectations. And I think them losing, winning 2 games in the NBA Finals last year might be a good enough stepping stone for them to, if they finish as the 1 seed this season, they could still go on to potentially get a ring, which would be awesome. I would love to see that. Got to get CP3 that ring, or at least back-to-back finals appearances, I think. Because I don't really see anyone like the Warriors or Memphis or anyone overcoming Phoenix. Speaking of Memphis, Ja Morant is ridiculous. He is not human. He's in most improved player race for sure, but I don't know. He's not really up there for MVP in official ranks, and I'm confused as to why. He is the heart and soul of that Grizzlies team, who they have a nice roster. They have a really nice team, but they're the 3 seed in the West right now, and Ja Morant is dropping 40, 50 a night. How is that not MVP worthy, bro? It's like Donovan Mitchell last year was the only offensive outlet on this Utah Jazz team, who finished as the best team in the league, and he finished below Derrick Rose for MVP voting. It's just stupid. And then you've obviously got now Ja Morant. He should be up there. He's averaging like 27 or something this season, which is up by 8 points. So obviously, if he doesn't win MVP, he has to win Most Improved. There's no question about it. I know Miles Bridges, Tyler Herro, Anthony Simons, DeJounte Murray, who is probably my second choice vote. They've all been insane. But if Ja doesn't win MVP, which I don't think he will, but he has to be at least up there for conversation. If he doesn't win MVP, he's got to at least be Most Improved Player because he's a joke, bro. He's an actual joke. So the Grizzlies, maybe they might stay as a 3 or 4 seed or something like that. Maybe even jump up to the 2 if the Warriors keep sucking. The Grizzlies have actually been really good. So fair play to them. I mean, obviously they broke the largest win margin in NBA history in a game earlier this season when they smashed the Thunder. Was it like 150 to 80 or like 152 to 79 to be exact? Crazy. And that was without Ja. I think with Ja there, they probably would have put up like 180 points or something like that. So, yeah, Grizzlies have been really good. I don't think they're really in a conversation for the finals. Watch them go sweep Philly now. You just watch it happen. Watch it happen now that I've said that. But speaking of Philly, they're sitting second in the East behind the Miami Heat, who are the 1 seed, so fair play to them. But, Philly, Joel Embiid, James Harden, it's going well so far. Now, this similar thing we saw when he joined Brooklyn. James Harden had a good start there, and we all thought, okay, he's going to be great. He's going to bang it with Irving and Durant and whatever, and they're going to kill the league. And Harden didn't really live up to that sort of expectation. He didn't live up to the James Harden we knew and love, or know and love, right? He kind of is at the moment. He's shooting 60% from the field and 50% from 3, averaging 27, 9, and 12. That's 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists. He's on a madness. And as soon as he joined, after these first 3 games, Embiid's just constantly said, like, I've never felt so open, because Embiid's like quadruple teamed every time he gets the ball. Now he's merely double teamed because if you get 2 on Embiid, Harden, who's been moving off the ball much better, than he was at Brooklyn in his last few weeks there, or months, I should say. He's been moving really well off the ball. So double teaming Embiid, there's a good chance, there's a better chance that Harden's going to be left open on the perimeter. And he's been shooting 50% from 3. So obviously 1 and 2 shots are going to be knocked down at this rate. Harden's been doing good. He's dropped 27, 29, 26. Like, they're second star numbers. They're great, and he'll have a few 30 pieces. Sure, he'll get below 20 in a couple of games. But he'll be a bit of a triple-double machine. He's already got 1 in Philly. I think he had 29, 10, and 16 the other day or something like that. But he's played 3 games. He's been great. Him and Embiid are going to be great. I think Embiid's probably favorite for MVP. If Philly stay as a 2 seed, obviously, they're above the Bucks right now, and I think second place is Giannis. And the Bucks have been very inconsistent. Giannis has been consistent, but Embiid doing what he's doing right now, no one else can win it. I'm sorry, but Embiid is my number 1 in MVP voting for now. And to wrap up, we're going to talk about the Champions League in football. So the second leg is going to be played during the next couple of days. Well, it'll be commenced in the next couple of days, and then you'll have a few games, and then a week break until the following week, where we'll have the rest of the second leg round of 16 games. We were going to have a podcast actually last week, I believe. So about a week ago, we were going to have a podcast. We were going to have my mate Jacob on the show, and we were going to talk about some Champions League stuff, but we ended up having to cancel for technical difficulty reasons. It is what it is. It's totally fine. We will get Jacob on the show at some point. But in the Champions League, obviously the scores were Bayern 1, Salzburg 1, Liverpool 2, Inter Milan 0, Man City 5, Sporting Lisbon 0, Real Madrid 0, PSG 1. I don't know why I said that in backwards order. What the hell? Juventus 1, Villarreal 1, Man United 1, Atletico 1, Ajax 2, Benfica 2, and Chelsea 2, Lille 0. So most of those are either level or you kind of have like a guaranteed winner. Or not a guaranteed winner, but a favourite in the second leg. Like, I don't think Sporting are going to travel to the Etihad and come back from a 5-0 deficit. I don't really see that happening. Although, no, it's not going to happen. Obviously, what am I even on about? Bayern are going to go through. They're going to beat Salzburg. Liverpool, back at home, after going to Inter and beating them 2-0, they're going to come through comfortably with like a 1-1 draw or something like that. I think I want PSG to go through because I can't stand Real Madrid just because of their fans. But I feel like Real Madrid are just going to get this sloppy 2-0 win or something like that, or like a 3-1, and they're just going to play scrappy football that, not the good Los Blancos ball that we haven't seen in a long time. Well, not a long time, but, half a decade, whatever. Since Ronaldo left, basically, they've sucked ass. And the amount of teams that they've robbed of wins is stupid. But, yeah, Real Madrid, I feel like they could get the win there. But I want PSG to go through. I want PSG to win the whole thing. I really want that. Quite simply, I want to see Mbappe lift the Champions League. And I want to see Messi lift the Champions League. And I want to see Neymar lift the Champions League. Obviously, I'd rather see someone like Salzburg because underdog stories just don't really happen too much in the Champions League. I know Ajax in 2019, obviously. But you talk about who's going to win the Champions League this season. You kind of talk about Real and PSG, obviously. You talk about Bayern. And you might throw in a mention of Man City and Liverpool. I don't know about Chelsea. I know they just obviously won it last season, and they have a good advantage against Lille. I don't see Chelsea going back-to-back. I think they will get knocked out in the quarterfinals. I think they're going to go through here. But I did mention before how Real Madrid constantly rob teams of wins, and we're going to talk about robbing teams of wins. Everton, I just feel so bad, bro. I cannot believe that they didn't get a point out of that. Obviously, they defended well the whole game, and Foden did get that goal in the 80th minute, or 82nd minute, whatever it was. But Everton, if they got that penalty, which it was a penalty, I don't care. Even City fans admitted it as a penalty, bro. I don't even want to hear it. It should have been 1-1. You know what? If they scored that penalty, I mean, maybe, was it before the Foden goal? I can't even remember if it was. But if it was, then they would have ended up probably defending twice as good because they got a 1-0 lead to hold. They would have won the game. And even with Man City winning that game, but you still got Liverpool kind of on fire. Salah is in Player of the Season pole position, potentially Ballon d'Or contention. I know that's like 9 months away, but still, he's been good. And Liverpool have been on great form. Man City slipping up a bit. Obviously, that L that they took against Spurs, and then that shaky game against Everton. Maybe they could drop points in the next few weeks and Liverpool could come back and win it. I did predict Liverpool to win it this season back at the start. So maybe they're coming through with another title, bro. That would be insane. It really would be insane. And the last thing we're going to talk about is Marcelo Bielsa. The poor guy got sacked after their 4th loss in a row, I believe it was. They got spanked 4-0 at home by Spurs and Bielsa was kicked out. So, he had some great memories with Leeds. Obviously took him up to the Prem eventually. He played some great football, but yet Leeds 2 points off the relegation zone. I really don't want to see him go down. If any of you talk about the career mode, I know not many people of you are going to know what I'm talking about, but shut your gob. Shut your gob. But that's where we're going to wrap things up. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully, I will see you all soon. But for now, have a good night. How do I say bye? How do I say bye formally? Huru. Oi, that's great. I can say g'day at the start of every episode and Haru at the end of them. So let me try that outro again. Just forget you saw any of this. Thank you all very much for tuning in to this episode. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. As I said all the way back at the start of the video. But for now, Huru.